Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's a Big 12 title game showdown for Kalani Sitake and the Cougars as they square off against Texas Tech for a spot in the college football playoff. Exclusive Big 12 title game coverage on the Zone is presented by JCW's, the Burger Boys. Quality and a lot of it. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex and 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah, Jensen. We are live for our college football Big 12 Roundtable here at the JCW's in American Fork, and they're already rolling out all of the rankings, the college football rankings coming out now of the 14th week of the college football playoff. Now, interestingly enough, as we're watching this thing roll out, and they're already up to 16 here. 20 is Tulane, 19 Michigan, 18 Arizona after that win over Arizona State, Virginia to 17, and then USC to 16. I'll have to come back and get that top 20 there. Joining us right now, by the way, we're at the JCW's in American Fork, and he's nice enough to come over here into Utah County. Well, he lives in Utah County, but he's nice enough to come across the freeway here. And Hans Olsen. Hans, you just have on your phone right there the extended bam. So you got bam. Kalani gets officially extended. We got the press conference that's coming up at 5:30. It's probably a massive sigh of relief for the folks here in Utah County.
It's a big day, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a huge day.
So my question is that now they're just focused 100% on football. Now they can just go right to the X's and O's, right?
Yeah, sure. I just sent out. I just retweeted the image. I said it looks like Kalani Sitake is challenging me to an arm wrestle.
You know what?
And
It'd be a good one to watch too.
And then I tagged him. I said, Kalani, you know how'd that go? I'd whoop him like I've always whooped him in arm wrestling. The dude might be able to buy me and have me killed, but I could arm wrestle him.
Yeah.
I know I could beat him.
You still got that on him.
I know I've got that on him.
Are you seeing this, by the way? The college football rankings are coming out. Utah down 2 spots to 15 in replacement
I can't
of
really
Utah.
argue after the last 2 games.
In replacement of Utah at 13, Texas is 13, Vanderbilt 14, so Utah 15. I'm
Texas ahead of Vanderbilt.
I know. They went up
disrespectful.
They went up from 16 to 13. Now I get it. They beat the number 3 team in the country. But as you watch this thing go down,
flawed number 3
and
team
Hans, we were talking about how annoyed we were going to be already with this, as Miami is number 12 again this week, and they stay pat there because they won and they beat Pitt, and they were expected to beat Pitt, and now it's going to be a waiting game to see if they'd be an at-large. But how is the college football playoff committee? I don't know. It just seems like they just seem to be kind of just grasping at ways to figure out how to put the teams in that they want from the very, very beginning. And it just doesn't seem to change that much because you're going to see BYU at 11. You're going to see the same 10, 9, 8, 7, maybe 7 changes as BYU has just rolled out as 11 right there, right where they were last week. So the college football playoff rankings a little bit of a head-scratcher because they say every week they're going to reset and re-rank everything, and it just seems like it stays the same.
Could you imagine if BYU had a loss to Florida in early October?
Apparently, that's the secret.
Let's say BYU had a loss to Florida, a loss to Texas Tech, and then, I don't know, let's just say a loss to who's the next highest ranked right now, the Big 12?
It would have been so Utah right behind BYU.
Okay,
yeah. So Utah at 15.
Let's say a loss to Utah, a loss to Florida, and a loss to Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what Texas has right now. They've got the loss to Ohio State, loss to Georgia, and the loss to Florida. That Florida team's just not a good team. And had they fired their coach?
They already hired their coach. They already hired Sumrall. So
the Tulane coach is headed to Florida.
Yeah. So Notre Dame actually goes down 1 spot to number 10.
Interesting.
They were 9th last week. I'm assuming that's going to be because they're going to make room in that 7, 8, 9 kind of area to jam Texas A&M. But the Fighting Irish have all. But I mean, they don't have to do a thing. They don't have to play in a conference championship game. Their regular season ended, and now they're just going to watch as everything kind of falls into place for them to get into the playoff.
And they're going to be number 10 in the college football playoff final rankings. I guarantee it.
Alabama goes up from 10th to 9th after their week and their win over LSU. Interesting. I wouldn't have pictured that, but I guess it doesn't really change anything because in the end, those two spots are going to be accounted for. 9 and 10 will have places in the college football playoff.
If Alabama loses to Georgia, they're out. If they win, they're in automatically. So it doesn't really matter. They're kind of in the same spot as BYU is.
So would that be able to push BYU up to that number 10 spot then if Alabama loses?
Well, if BYU wins, then they're automatically in. But if BYU loses, they're not going to move up at all.
Yeah, getting dinged for playing in a conference championship game when the other team goes.
And that's exactly the truth. Is
wild,
you
right?
get punished for making a conference championship game if you don't win the conference championship game.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense. There's no incentive to play in these games.
Yeah. So these are rolling out as we're watching them, and Oklahoma is number 8 here. So we're kind of walking through that. Obviously, the biggest news of the day is that Kalani Sitake is going to walk away from the Penn State opportunity that was apparently there for him, and he's going to get extended as the head coach at BYU. How big of a deal is this, Hans? From a short-term perspective, obviously it's good news because then I think the team can focus a lot more this week on all that, and they don't have to worry about whether or not they might be looking at other teams or hitting the transfer portal, all those things that come with all those conversations. What does this do for the long-term health of BYU's football program to have Kalani Sitake staying there long-term?
Well, I think it's interesting because you go back to when Kalani Sitake announced during the Big 12 championship press conference, and he said, "This is good for us," or something along the lines of "This is good for us."
It was a good distraction, is what it was. Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, he knew. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
He knew what was happening. He knew what the Penn State offer meant. What the Penn State offer meant was for him to force BYU to be more committed to football. And what he did with it was leveraged it and said, I'm going to get more in NIL, more assistant coaches, more for me, more for my players, which means you're all more invested, which means we're all going to win together. Or I'm going to leave. I talked about this on the show today. Kyle Whittingham, even though Kalani's been around a lot of mentors, Kyle Whittingham was his number one mentor.
Yeah.
And you watch Kyle every time he got leverage, what he do with it. He leaned into it, got 100%. New facilities, got extensions, got his assistant coaches multi-year deals.
Yeah.
Not just paid, but multi-year deals where all of a sudden that became the norm. And he worked it. Every time he had leverage, he worked it. That's the vein Kalani comes from. He saw his opportunity to work it. He said it in the presser. As soon as he said it, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's good for us. No. Right now the perception is it's good for you. But if you know Kalani Sitake, it is good for us.
Yeah.
Because he's not out for himself. He's out for the betterment of that program. And he knows he owes it. He owes it to all of us. He owes it to me as a former player. He owes it to Lavelle Edwards as his first mentor. He owes it to anybody that's ever put the BYU logo on and bought a ticket to go into that stadium. He owes it to them to force the organization to get better. Crap or get off the pot. We're either going to keep winning these and we're going to get better, or we're just going to stop competing, and I'm going to go where I can compete. Because this has to be really frustrating to Kalani. Sitting here on a Tuesday night, watching BYU check in at number 11, after finishing the season, whooping a couple of teams. I know they were sleeping in the first quarter, UCF, but 41-7 through 3 quarters.
Oh, yeah.
The committee has to see it. Imagine Kalani sitting, he just gave up Penn State. He could be 9-3 with Penn State right now and be knocking on the door if he had the right schedule.
He'd probably be 11th.
Yeah, and knocking on the door if he had the right schedule.
Sure.
And
11-1 at Penn State, by the way, he's number 4 in the country.
Right. He gets a bye.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Are you kidding me? Not even close.
And maybe not even playing in the Big Ten championship game, because that could be like an Indiana. And it'd be better for him. They'd be 3 or 4 by the time it's
But I can remember like some of the negotiations and some of the leveraging and some of the manipulation that Kyle Whittingham imposed on Chris Hill and imposed on presidents and imposed on anybody that was like, hey, will you stay? Yeah, like Tennessee's nice. Yeah, I'd like to stay. I'd like to build a legacy, but this is how it's going to go. We're going to build new structures. We're going to be the best recruiters. You remember, as far as documented recruiting spending in the Pac-12, Utah was number 1. Yep. USC obviously undocumented because it's a private university.
Right.
Utah was number 1 in recruiting spending. And look at what it did for him.
Paid
Gave him a
off.
couple of Pac-12 championships. Kalani's looking at it like, okay, Kyle, what'd you do? Tennessee came calling, what'd you do? Well, I stayed for legacy. But I didn't tell the school that. I told the school I could go win. I could have everything I want. Or we could do that here. So when you ask me, what does it mean for the university?
It's a legend move.
Dude,
Yeah.
this changes everything because for the next 6 years, BYU is pot committed.
This is big business. Leverage is power. And Kalani found the leverage he needed to get this done and to get what he knows he needs in order for this program to take the next step. He's looking across the way at Texas Tech. They got all this money. They got David Bailey. They got Rodriguez.
Took him 1 year, by the way, with all that. Took him
That's
1
all
year.
it took.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, how are we going to compete against these guys? This is how.
Yeah.
He got the leverage he needed. He gets the extra 10 to 15 million of NIL. This last 24 hours, as much panic that set in Cougar Nation, and all of you listening out there, you were worried that Kalani was going to leave. I don't know what your level was during the day. I didn't talk to you about it.
Not much.
Okay, so you knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I knew.
I figured I knew what he was doing.
But you got to play into the game.
This is how the game is
You
played,
got to play into the game.
and he played it well.
Yeah.
And he got the perfect opportunity with a blue blood like Penn State that came calling. BYU had no choice. The donors had no choice. They had to step up. And this last 24 hours is going to be looked back on as a very important 24 hours in BYU football history because now they're going to get the resources that they need moving forward to take the next step as a competitive force. You looked at what we just saw with – you're absolutely right. They're 11th in the college football playoff rankings with one loss. It's BS. It's baloney. We all know it.
It's terrible.
It's a joke. Okay, the committee is plugging all these SEC teams in front of them for a reason. How are you going to blow that door open? You got to have more resources. You got to go get better players. But when you get to that playoff, you've got to win. And you do that with better players.
Yeah.
And this is going to enable him to do that. He's going to keep the same assistants. This is how BYU moves forward and competes at the level that Kalani wants them to, and they believe they can. They're using all the resources now.
You know, it's wild.
They're using all their resources.
Because, you know, and coaches can get extended at any time for an extra amount of time, and they do periodically. But the reality is that Kalani is going to be here, and he'll end up being the second longest tenured head coach in BYU football history. As of next year, he'll be that or in the next 2 years he will be. But you're talking about a guy who could be here 15, 18 years after all is said and done just off of this extension. And then you're talking about a guy who starts to approach that time frame that his mentor, Lavelle Edwards, obviously set forward for him. And by the way, we were talking about this, I think, with DJ in the first hour. It's like, so where is this right now? Because the idea was basketball's getting all this attention. Look at what basketball's done. Basketball has set the standard, and you got to kind of thank all the things that went on there at the basketball side of things, because now football goes, well, you kind of want to be treated the same way, and I think they've gotten to that point now. I mean, that's what we're looking at now is a football program that is matching the attitude of what the basketball team has been doing, and that's how you get to win. And by the way, if your football and basketball teams are really, really good programs, what a better way. I mean, no better way for BYU to get the attention that they want from stuff like this, which is you get people interested in your university. You get people interested in what's going on, and then you're able to keep some of these great players. And it's interesting because then they all look too. And then tomorrow when the early signing day happens, you keep the guys that you were anticipating you were going to keep, and you also turn the heads of other people who maybe were wondering about it, who go, I might take a second look at it. Maybe I'll take till February to make that extra decision. That kind of stuff happens. So it's a phenomenal move. It had to happen today, otherwise tomorrow would have gotten really, really weird and really awkward.
Yeah. So Hans, now they can focus on football. That's what we really want to talk about this week. This is all done. We're going to hear more about it coming up at 5:30. I believe there's a press conference we're going to take live down in Provo. So I want to get your thoughts on the game Saturday. We've been talking about it with everybody else on the show today. After the way the first game went, and the way that Texas Tech has played. Now, by the way, Texas Tech is number 4 in the college football playoff rankings. They are in a perfect position for them to get a bye. They have a lot to play for on Saturday. Their fans have been waiting for this for a long, long time. How does BYU go in there? How is it going to be different this time for BYU? What has to happen?
Well, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that can be better. Just the surface things. No muffed punts. No shanked punts. no interceptions, no failed laterals.
I forgot about the Vanderhart. Sam had a bad day that day.
Yeah, he had 2 shank punts that were really painful. No failed laterals. You need L.J. Martin to be 95%, not 62%.
Yeah.
Which I think that's about where he's at. He's up in the 90s. Feels like he's pretty darn healthy right now.
I almost felt like the mental side of his game. He talked about it afterward too. Like, obviously, if you're not feeling 100%, like mentally, he's like, I wasn't confident.
No, it's warfare.
It was terrible.
It's warfare, and at the college level, it's warfare. At the NFL, it's even worse.
Yeah,
because you feel like in the NFL, if I'm not 105%, if I'm 80%, there's no way I can't compete. These are the best athletes in the world, so it's really tough. It plays major mind games with you, especially as physical as L.J. Martin plays. He doesn't play like a Barry Sanders. He plays more like a Jerome Bettis.
Yeah.
And he's just so physical. He's physical in his blitz pickups, and he's physical in his exterior blocking, and he's physical in setting pockets and physical in downhill runs. So he needs to be healthy. The offense needs to open up. You know, if you want to get into just some of the technical parts, the schematic parts, 6 max setting a pocket. Max. Cannot go 7 max protect. Can't.
Yeah.
It hampers the 3 receivers that are en route. If you don't have 4 receivers en route, it's just so easy, especially with a lengthy, rangy bird dog like Jacob Rodriguez.
Yeah.
He gets everywhere, and he gets everywhere quick.
And he punches the ball out. It seems like every game he punches one out for him. It's amazing.
So you've got to have 4 en route. Really, realistically, you got to have 5. So I've harped on this, and I harped on it during the UCF broadcast because they were going 5-on-4 against UCF. You're going to have to tell your big boys to grow up. You're going to have to remind Andrew Gentry, hey, you're getting paid to do this. Jada, you're getting paid to do this. And I know you got a couple of great ones in David Bailey and Romello Height, but you're getting paid. So we're going to have to go some 4-on-5 here, boys.
This is a big opportunity for you to get some NFL film.
Is Waylon Lapuaho going to be able to go then? Was he?
No, not that I've heard of.
Okay.
I don't know. Has the initial injury report?
No, I think they do the same thing like a Wednesday schedule.
Don't know yet. It's not out yet.
Yeah. Haven't heard, but I wouldn't assume so.
Okay.
But I don't know. Waylon's one of the tougher dudes out there. Austin Leusa got hurt, but he came back in that game, so I was glad to see him come back.
And he and Gentry kind of do that swapping thing anyway, and so that would. But that's the Waylon Lapuaho thing to me is tough because I think they miss him. I think they miss that dude. That dude's presence.
He was good. He was really good depth, but I actually think Kaz Safarchuk is confident and is able. I just like Waylon's leadership, and I also like his toughness because. Not that he'd ever throw a punch, but he'd be the first one to throw the punch in the bar. He's that kind of confident. And Kaz Farchuk is very good, very, very good offensive lineman. But he's also good for a false start here and there. And if I remember right, the Tech game, I think he had a false start in one of the opening. I can't remember. I think it was Kaz Farchuk had a false start in one of the drives. And anyways, it was. That's the other thing. You can't have any negative plays against Texas Tech. I have to be at a minimum. I got to be 2nd and 7. I can't have a false start 1st and 15, get myself to 2nd and 12, and think I'm going to fight my way out of 2nd and 12. Not with this bird hawking defense. It's just
you've got
ball hawking defense.
You've got the boards in front of you, and it looks like they're from the actual. So that's from your first time around because it has their records on there, and you got a bunch of stuff scribbled on there. What do you take away from that defense? Like, what's the thing that you looked at and you went, we have all these names on here that are phenomenal players that are All-American caliber. Rodriguez obviously is one of those guys.
Yeah.
But that defensive front and the front 7 are maybe the best in the entire country. It's like every week that Big 12 would roll out best defensive line of the week was always, it seemed like, Texas Tech. What were you impressed by with what they do and with what names like David Bailey do off the edge there, and what kind of a difference those big names have been for them that they got out of the transfer portal? They got a lot of transfers that came in that they were able to bring in.
Well, the thing I take away from this Tech defense is they're universal. They do everything well, which means I can't pigeonhole myself offensively. I have to have everything at my disposal. I've got to be able to hit play actions downfield. I've got to be able to hit quick slants, and I got to be able to hit a B gap off some type of zone dive. I have to have it all, because if they find that I'm narrowed down to 3 or 4 things, they're too good. They'll smash you out. They'll hold you to 6 points. They won't let you breathe. They're just too universally good. That's why I'm saying, boys, if this offensive line can't man up, and pick up the 4 downs, and they can't go with a 6-man protection and expect L.J. Martin to be able to step up, pick the 5th man coming in on pressure, and they're having to go max protect, and they're having to run everything super conservative, they're done. But Roderick knows that. Now, he also knows that he risks looking really bad, giving up pressures, giving up sacks, giving up pressures that lead to interceptions, giving up sacks that lead to strip fumbles. As you guys mentioned, Jacob Rodriguez doesn't just show up to make the tackle. He shows up to force the ball out. Not just Jacob Rodriguez, everybody on this team. In fact, I thought one of the craziest stats when I was putting all my numbers together getting ready for this weekend was Texas Tech and their turnover margin. Number 4 in the country at plus 13.
That's pretty good.
Now, BYU's incredible at plus 12. Shockingly incredible. They've had 22 turnovers that they've forced, 10 that they've lost. Texas Tech has forced 27 turnovers and only lost 14. And they do that because their defense is universal. Yeah. And they're almost split interceptions to fumbles. It's pretty close to split.
Let's take a break here. We'll come back. We're anticipating the presser coming out of Provo. This program, of course, is top of the hour, always brought to you by Trajan Wealth, TRAJAN Wealth.com. It's Trajan Wealth for all your trusted local needs in retirement. And JCW is where we are doing our Big 12 championship breakdown of Roundtable today. Look, they do it better than anybody else. Like I said, across the board, the menu's phenomenal, top to bottom. There's not a thing on there that you can order that you'll go, I didn't really like that. They do it so well, top to bottom. They're the burger boys, but they do everything awesome. The salads, the fish and chips, the wings, all of it, on top of the fact that you get the best burgers around as well. They are the burger boys. Best burger in Utah. Come check it out for yourself. JCW's. We're at the One American Fork. They've got locations everywhere, though. Let's take that break. We'll come back. We've got more to go. We're anticipating a press conference from Provo. Stay right here with us as they announce Kalani Sitake officially being extended at BYU as the head coach. Right here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. We are at JCW's for our Big 12 Championship Roundtable. And we're anticipating. We didn't think this was going to happen. We knew that we were like, hey, I think we might be good to have a JCW's Roundtable with the Big 12 Championship. I think Utah or BYU's either one of those teams are going to get in. You know, like 6 weeks ago when we were trying to plan this thing out. Tell you what we didn't plan out was Kalani Sitake possibly going to Penn State and then bailing out of that and committing to BYU, and BYU extending Kalani Sitake in a press conference featuring Kalani Sitake that we're anticipating from Provo here in the next couple of minutes here as we go along. So it's a pretty cool thing. I think Hans, you brought it up. It's like, look, does BYU get pushed into the future if a move like this doesn't happen from the spending standpoint and from the playing with the big boys standpoint?
Yeah, no, this sets the high water mark. This sets the standard. Now, I was joking about it in the break, but if Kevin Young makes it to a Final Four, now it's just going to be one pushes the other.
Yeah.
Because I can promise you, when the Kevin Young contract was leaked, whether those numbers were accurate or not, Kalani and his team saw and heard those numbers and said, what? Mm-hmm. Wait a second. What about my staff? What about football? We are the program here. And now Kevin Young gets to a Final Four, and he'll say, whoa, did football bring in the number one recruit in the country? Did they just make you payouts for the next 6 years? I can't remember. What is an NCAA tournament
big
game
deal.
payout?
Yeah,
Is it
you're
like
right.
6 years it goes on, doesn't it?
For the Final Four, I'd have to look that up. But
It's a long distribution.
We all know it's significant when you get to that point. Absolutely.
It just pays you every year.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm getting reoccurring revenue. What? Where's mine? I need more so we can get more number ones. So what this is going to do is it's just forcing competition inside the athletic department, and it's nothing but good for BYU.
It's healthy.
One of the things that came up, and we're going to be able to hear from Kalani and Brian Santiago, the press release said, and Brian Santiago's not been at this even a year officially. What has the impact been with him? Because a lot of talk has been about whether or not Kalani, quote-unquote, gets along with Brian Santiago, and I think that people read a lot into that, and I don't necessarily know if that there was a lot of talk about whether or not Brian Santiago was going to be able to figure this out or pull this off or whatever it is, but a year in now, all the things that he said he wanted to do when he first got in, they're coming to life.
Yeah, to quote Coach Prime, that's bull stuff.
that they don't get along. All this.
What
like,
is
they don't
what is
get
Coach Prime? Is it bull
junk?
Bull
It's
junk. Bull junk.
Yeah.
That's bull junk.
Yep.
Bull junk.
It is. It's bull junk, and this is all generated out of jealousy, inaccuracy, rumor. It's ridiculous. I sent out a tweet. I hope everybody's deleting their mean tweets. Just delete your mean tweets. You look stupid.
You saw the reaction yesterday, and I think it's I think it was healthy for everybody to wonder what life would be like without Kalani Sitake at BYU.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, they all.
You
have
saw the
picture.
panic set in when a lot of people realized this could be real. This is real.
But anybody thinking that Brian Santiago was like, no, we could do without Kalani, you're out of your minds.
Yeah, right.
Well,
you're out of your minds.
Look, I fail also to think. I mean, like, I just want you to imagine what your relationship is like with somebody who is, I don't know, the CFO at your company and you're a financial advisor. Like, are you best friends at every level with all those people? The answer is never, almost never, of course. I'll tell you what, it's because it's a working professional relationship. And I'll tell you what, Brian Santiago wasn't accidentally, like, given this opportunity. There was a spot right there. They saw the opportunity. And by the way, he was the guy who made a lot of the basketball stuff happen that has facilitated the very things that we've been talking about here. And guess what? When he sat down in his first press conference, what was the first thing he said he wanted to do? Figure out football, extend Kalani, get that staff figured out, and here we are.
Just so everybody knows that the dynamics of an athletic director at BYU are much different than anybody else's responsibility and role. Brian Santiago has a fiscal responsibility that the athletic director at Colorado didn't have when he hired Coach Prime with money he didn't have.
As we've learned.
The way the church operates, just so people understand, if you build a building on BYU's campus, you have to have the full amount for the cost of the build, and you got to have a 10-year set-aside account to be able to pay for the maintenance, to pay for the lights, and to pay for the employees. You got to have 10 years set aside. It's the same way with these coaches. It's not like, hey, we're going to figure this out. What we're going to do is we're going to take a number generated off of our revenue income over the next 6 years off TV distribution. We're going to extrapolate that from our no, it's, do we have the money? If we've got the money right now, we got to have $66 million. Or we've got to have $58 million or whatever the amount is to be able to extend them. It's so much different. People don't understand what Brian Santiago or Tom Homo deals with.
Right.
I do to a certain extent.
And that's why the relationship with the boosters and the donors is so important.
Yes, because you've got to have the money.
BYU itself is not going to do this. You must do this in a partnership with the people who can finance
exactly.
it. And we all know how those people are right now and how that went.
You can't run on handshakes, promises, and contracts. You've got to have the proof. The brethren that run BYU are not going to sit there and get risky with this and be like, okay, can we afford it? Somebody has to go to them and say, yes, we can afford it. Oh, and by the way, with $9.5 million a year, this is what we see our return as.
And here are the safety things to make sure that we're not doing something wild here, because they can't hear that something's being wild anyway. But so in that sense, Brian Santiago sitting down with Keith Vorking, who's the vice president over his department, and then Shane Reese has, I think, also been a massive add, I think, as an ally in that. And by the way, you need to have a president of a university nowadays, in every university, who's being serious about this kind of stuff. They have to be on board. You don't have to go and convince a guy like Shane Reese how important sports are, and that's a huge thing as well.
No doubt. And we're seeing it play out. And everything is perfectly worked out for BYU for this day to happen.
To have a lot of success.
Yes.
For a long time.
And don't discount 11-1 and back-to-back 11-win seasons in the Big 12.
People need to, and I'll say this is the third time I'm saying it today on these airwaves. People need to look how Kyle Whittingham built Utah.
Yeah.
This is how he built it. When assistants didn't get the job done, he fired them. When he got the leverage, he used it. When he got the recruiting edge, he took it. He identified a few things that were going to really be the catalyst to send him into the stratosphere, making sure he beats his rival, doing it for 9 straight games, whatever, 10 years, 11 years, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. He knew what he needed to do to shoot that school beyond heights they'd ever been. Kalani took notes, and that's what this is. Kalani's like, that was awesome, Kyle. Now watch me do it with BYU.
I bet. I mean, I wouldn't know this for sure, but I mean, Lane Kiffin talked about a lot this week about how much he's like, I missed not being able to talk to my dad about this kind of stuff. This is the kind of stuff that maybe you dip in and you go, hey, Kyle, how would you handle this? What do you do? How did you do it? Or at least to watch and see what he did and go.
Well, and I'll tell you
right now.
I'll tell you how Kyle would handle it. Like a cutthroat, fearless warrior. And I guarantee that if it comes push to shove and Kalani's sitting across the table, and if he's feeling like Penn State's not enough leverage, it's, hey, how you going to do when I take Aaron Roderick, Fesi Sitake, Harvey Young? How are you going to do when I take Bear Bachmeier?
K-pop.
How are you going to do when I take whoever I want to take?
Yeah.
How's that going to look for you? Good luck rebuilding that.
It'd be so.
Okay, so you think you're just going to hire Jay Hill and all's fine and good. Jay's going to sit there for 3 years in a rebuild, trying to figure out who to hire, how to hire, how to even adapt to BYU, the whole culture of it as a head coach.
And then after that, wonder if he still wants to be there after 3 years of it being a struggle.
I'm just telling you, man. You know, when you get into these high-ranking negotiations, and BYU's like, oh no, we're going to give you a nice raise, and I'm not talking about a raise. I'm talking about historical numbers.
Yeah.
I'm talking about winning multiple Big 12 championships. I'm talking about being a CFP power. I'm not talking about a little raise. What we're going to do is we're going to rebuild facilities. We're going to be number 1 in recruiting. I'm going to make sure if I can keep Jay Hill, I'm going to keep Jay Hill. I'm going to make him the highest paid defensive coordinator, so he'll never go anywhere. I'm going to keep his family happy, and I'm going to do that for every one of these assistants. What are you talking about, a raise? You can take your raise and you can go fly a kite. I'll go to Penn State. I'll do it right now. Raise. What a joke.
And if it's not Penn State, it's somewhere else.
Hey, and by the way, for anybody that's wronging Brian Santiago or the university for trying to do what they could to save and salvage, they have to.
That's their job.
Growing up in this religion, we all understand the dynamics.
Right.
We all know the fiscal responsibility. We all understand the optics of a church employee making $9.5 million. It's probably the highest paid church employee.
Not probably.
Well, I'm thinking the church does have financial advisors that I'm sure.
They might clear
not
on
touching
some,
that.
Yeah, I'll clear on some bonuses or something. But
if on three's correct, he's looking at roughly $9 to $9.5 million annually, plus $10 to $15 million of NIL.
And
on top of revenue sharing. On top of revenue sharing.
And by the way,
that's $20 million.
I don't trust those numbers at all. Because I know the Kevin Young numbers were skewed. I know all these numbers are skewed. But let's just say it's a ballpark.
Right.
Yeah. Let's say it's 7.5. Let's say what it is.
Let's say it's a
Kyle
ballpark.
At the end of everything, yeah.
But we also need to know, everybody needs to know, any number that comes out of BYU, it is manipulated and used for whatever the coach, the university, the agent, whatever they want to leverage and use it for. Any number that comes out. Because I've known these guys for a lot of years, and I've known a lot of BYU employees, and I've never got to the bottom of the actuality of it. I've never seen a factual number just, well, I'm making X amount.
How many of you listening right now know how much money your coworkers make? That's pretty common.
Let's take a quick break.
We're not all out here sharing what we make.
We've got our eyes.
Alex making more than me and you.
That's why I'm going to break. So I didn't want to talk. I'm very uncomfortable. No, I'm going to take it. Let's take a quick break here. When we come back, I've got our eyes on the stream here. As soon as it happens, we'll bring it right to you. We're going to sneak a break in here. We're at JCW's in American Fork. Stay with us. More to go. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. All right, we're going to go straight to Provo, a press conference right now. Brian Santiago, the athletic director of BYU, announcing an extension of Kalani Sitake as the head coach. Let's listen to it.
To read this statement. In many ways, Kalani Sitake is a public face of Brigham Young University. He leads our most prominent athletic team, and you couldn't ask for a better exemplar of the Christ-centered values for which this university stands. In saying that, I also communicate the great trust and confidence of BYU's Board of Trustees that they have in Kalani Sitake's unwavering commitment to BYU's mission, which helps to build student athletes who learn by studying and by faith. Someone recently said that BYU wants to win, but BYU wants to win as a family. Kalani is family, and we couldn't be more pleased that he'll be staying at BYU for all the right reasons and leading our football program into the Big 12 championship this week. And I'll just second President's words. We're so excited for all that Kalani represents and for the future of him leading our football program.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Keith.
Pete.
Thanks. This, as I mentioned, is a pretty exciting day. And we're really excited to announce that Kalani Sitake is going to be BYU's football coach long into the future. We, as an athletic department and university, are making a significant investment to make sure that we have a football program that is set up and prepared to have success for the future. One of the things that's been most impressive in this process is what Kalani really is all about. This is a great football coach, but this is one of the great people on planet Earth. He's committed to everything that's good. He's committed to not only running a first-class football program, he's so committed to his staff, everyone in the building. He cares about every single person that is part of this program. And maybe most importantly, he's all in for these players. There weren't very many times in this process that he was talking about himself, talking about his own compensation. He was talking about, I want to take care of all the people around me. And that's what tells you a lot about Kalani Sitake. The other part of this that's pretty awesome is Kalani is in this with his family. Not only Timberly, his amazing wife and his children, but his dad. And Pops is right back there. He's a big part of this program too. And we're grateful to you, Pops. Grateful to you for your commitment, not only to this program, but for raising such a great man in Kalani. I just want to add too, when you get in the trenches of college athletics, you want to do it every day with people that you love and that you can actually have a great time with. And I'm most excited about walking the path with Kalani and continuing to see him build men that aren't only going to do incredible things on the football field, but he's preparing these young men to go and change the world. And the culture that he's built here is second to none. And we're not just investing in a football program. We're investing in Kalani Sitake. I'm grateful to be here and sit next to him as the athletic director, but more importantly as a friend and a confidant. Let's go.
Thank you for everyone being here, and I appreciate that, Ryan. Thank you, Keith. Kind words from President. First of all, I just want to express my gratitude to our President, President Reese, and our Vice President, Keith Warkink, and then also our Athletic Director, Brian Santiago, their leadership, and just doing this. I mean, if I'm being honest, I just wanted to be here long. You know, that's that's what it's all about. I've had amazing mentors along the way, including Lavelle Edwards and Kyle Whittingham, who like sticking where they're at, and I appreciate all their examples to me. And so this is a place that I want to be for the long run. And luckily, I grew up cheering for this team, and I played here too. So it helps to play for the legend Lavelle Edwards. I also want to show my gratitude and appreciation to the leadership of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for allowing us to be a great partner in the Big 12, but also to function well as a program. And the goal here was for me not only to be here for a long time, but also to take care of my coaching staff and my support staff. And this allows us to do that, and also to take care of our players. So there's a strong commitment from the university to do those things, and that speaks to my heart. And so that was easy for me to agree to do that if they took care of my people, like Brian said. And then I want to express my love to my family. Pops, and all my family. I mean, I got tons of cousins, you guys know. Even some that claim me that we're not blood related, but it's okay. But thankful to all my family. I've been raised by a village, and I hope I can make them proud. And so, with that, also want to express my love and appreciation to my best mentor. That's my wife, Kimberly, and my 4 children, Sky, Sadie, KK, Kalani Jr. we call him too, and then our baby girl Sylvia. So they've been amazing throughout the whole process, and they're the best supporters for us, and I appreciate them. Also want to tell the players how much I love them. They're amazing, and they make my job so enjoyable, and I love being around them. And being their coach has made me a better person the last 10 years, and I got a lot more improvement to make, so I'm planning to be around for a while to get better. But I'm so proud and honored to be their coach, and I'm honored that I get to learn from such wonderful young men. And then and finally, I just want to, this goes to everybody, just thankful for everyone here at the university. I've had amazing support from everyone involved. I have amazing mentors all over the place, championship coaches, and championship people in the support staff and the administration. They've been awesome. And so it's easy when you just sit around, if you just listen to people around you, they can influence you and make you a better person. And so thank you to everyone here and everyone involved in the media. I know I like to hang out with you guys and talk about how I wish I had a goatee to cover up my double chin, stuff like that. So thank you for laughing at all my jokes and humoring me. So I enjoy all my relationships with everybody. I'm a people person, so I like to hang out with people and get to know them. And so finally, I just want to express my love to all the fans. My wife said that the last day or so was probably one of her favorites, and my family, and she called it a love bomb from all the fans. And it's hard to leave when you have something so special, and you have amazing people that support us. And so I'm just grateful that I get to be around the amazing fans, and to make things easier, we'll just quit all the drama, and I'm here, that way people don't have to stop in the middle of the road. It's not safe, and roll the windows down and yell at me to stay. There's a student that sat out here by my parking spot with a sign, and I asked him how long he was waiting there, and he said a couple hours. He had no idea when I was going to be there, and gave him a hug and took a picture of him. But the fans all over the place. It's super special when social media can be toxic and dangerous sometimes, and so negative. thank you for making it a loving place where my children can feel proud of their dad. And I could just be really proud of the friends that I got to make and the memories. And so those are things that we get to hang on to forever. And so I still have a goal of hugging every fan, every BYU fan. I got close in the last 10 years, but I feel like there's going to be more. So anyways, I want to get back to the game and the focus on the game. That's the goal here. I think that we can. I'm a low maintenance guy, so as you can see, I just came from practice, so this is what I wear. It's all free, and so I just plan on just let's get the focus back on the boys, back on us playing Texas Tech and this amazing conference with the Big 12 with a great commissioner like Brett Yormark, and looking forward to the matchup against Texas Tech this weekend. And let's have more fun with that, and we can just I can answer the questions from you guys, but we can just move on and know that this is settled and get back to the game. So love you guys. Go Cougs. Appreciate it. Questions?
How hard was it to make this decision?
I just really never. I mean, I've been here a while, and for 10 years I've had a lot of people that have been interested in talking, and I think that a lot of them have been aggressive, and it's one of those moments where you kind of, for me, it's like I never really thought about leaving ever, but I'm also a competitor, and I want to be able to take care of people, and this is just one of those moments where I felt like, us being in the Big 12, if we can make the right moves, and I don't really need to do this anywhere else, I can do it here. And I feel like we've got some great momentum, and I want to keep focused on the culture, but really, really tough, but not really that tough either, So I think for me it was, I don't know, after people start talking about it, it was, I talked about the love bomb. It was this amazing feeling of appreciation from everybody. I don't know how you can leave that, man. I just don't know how you can walk away from it, and it's not really about the money, but there is an opportunity for me to take care of my players and my staff, and make sure that we're all headed the right direction, what we want to accomplish. It's our third year in the Big 12. I feel like we've made some really cool moves, and we're in a place now that we've never been before, but I think we can really accomplish a lot of things, especially with Brian Santiago as our AD. We can be aggressive and get after some things and be the best we can, not just on the field, but also off the field. So, yeah, I don't know if I can answer that right by saying it was rough, but also easy.
So, Brian, you mentioned that this was a deeper investment from the athletic department and the football program. What are some of the particulars of that deeper investment?
Well, investment in, first and foremost, our head coach. You want to make sure that your head coach feels valued. But like I mentioned before, Kalani's totally committed to building a program that is not only championship driven, but to do it the BYU way. So his focus was making sure that we made an investment in his coaching staff, make an investment in the players to make sure that we give him the resources he needs. But he wants it spread over the whole program. And if you're going to chase greatness and do it in a unique way, you have to be invested all the way, because one of the things that we're committed to is that we're climbing the mountain. We're chasing greatness. We're doing it the BYU way, and if we're going to sustain it, we're interested in the long game and the long-term sustainability of our program. We're not just trying to win a few games for now. Last I checked, and I've said this a few times, a lot of people talk about our competitive juices and how they flow. The last 7 or 8 months since I've been named the AD, I haven't had anybody call me or email me and say, hey, can you guys be mediocre? Everybody is interested. Cougar Nation everywhere in the world is interested in what's going on. We just found out the last 3 or 4 days, we've literally heard from people all across the world of how invested they are, and then their message is, if you're going to chase greatness like this, If you're going to invest in the program, the whole program, all the way, facilities included, we are driven to have our facilities be second to none. If you're going to invest in the whole program, we're in. Cougar Nation, all across the world, we're in. Let us know what you need. And that's been super heartwarming. And I see people even in this room the last few days that have just sent clear messages. We're all in for this program.
Kalani, it wasn't that long ago that you were sitting next to Tom Homo having a conversation like this along these lines, and Tom said a lot of what you said today about being invested in the whole program. Is this a sign that was unprecedented, that you have to do this? Is it a sign of how much the playing field is changing, how quickly everything's accelerating across the industry?
Yeah, I think that's the right way to say it. I think you have policies and guidelines that you want to do things, but you have to be able to adapt to what's going on in the game. I mean, just not long ago we didn't have this type of playoff system, you know. So I think understanding that has been key. And I think Brian and Keith and the President have been amazing in the entire process. But it's also understanding that there's a vision of it. So in order to get somewhere, you have to have the vision first, and then you have to know that along the way this is what we want to get there. I mean, it's easy to just try to say let's do it all at once in one day. It just doesn't work like that. So, but the communication and being able to talk about things and seeing that there's a plan in place, that's been the key, and communicating it through the entire team and the coaching staff. That's the one thing too. It's having us all be on the same page, and I feel like we're headed there. You know, you just need to hear it more. You know, and for me, I needed to hear it more from everyone and from the administration, and there's a commitment to do that. And I mean, there's also we talked about having a commitment to do other things, not just be only about football. We have to be about other things, and have to be able to serve the platform that we have, and even if other teams aren't doing it the way we do it. And so I'm committed to doing that too, and I want to make sure that our guys, the guys that we bring on this team, that they're committed to doing that, and that they know that they have to not only perform on the field but off the field, and it's required of them to be at their best. And so we're working there. You know, some things you have to be a little bit patient with, and other things can be done right now. And I just like the vision of it all, and the administration giving me that vision, and also leadership from the church. So I feel really positive and good about where we're headed.
Kalani, you're good friends with Jordan McGuire, as you alluded to on Monday. Texas Tech, and Brendan Wayne on this as well, has invested heavily in player retention and NIL and block. You talk about unprecedented funds. Are they an architect you guys are aspiring to kind of follow in a way?
Yeah, with the investment that Texas Tech's made. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be the same way. It's not like we take the system that Texas Tech has and we use it for here. It won't work. BYU is unique and different, so we have to do it our own way. But there's got to be there are some things that are similar, but I don't know that game plan won't work here. And then I want young men that fit the system and fit what we're trying to get done here in the mission of our team, that's in alignment with the mission of the university and alignment with the mission of the church. And fortunately, there's a lot of young men that want to play football for that type of system and in that program. And we're finding out quite a bit in the recruiting process that we can field a really good team doing it that way. But you have to also take care of some other things, which is kind of a given, you know. And so we're working through all of it. I like the discussions that we're having. I like the moves that we're making, and I feel good about the young men that we can bring into this program.
Kalani, you mentioned you wanted a deal that is going to help coaching staff, support staff. How does it help the coaching staff? Is it new deals also for your coordinators and things like that?
Yeah, I think it applies to everybody. And so it's important that everybody in this building feels valued, from our coaches to our support staff to our players as well. So that's the key. And so we're making that move for everyone. But when you think about it, my job isn't try to pay people so much money that they never want to leave. There's a lot of guys on our team that are going to be good quality head coaches. I noticed that when Lavelle was doing that and things were rolling, he was pumping out great NFL coaches, and I mean, Andy Reid's one of them. He's out there at Kansas City right now, and I appreciate his support, by the way, you know. And there's a lot of people out there that have gone through the system. So I'm trying to create a place where people want to get after our coaches and they want to hire them. That's a good sign for all of us. And so there's a little bit of both. I want to be able to retain coaches, but I also want to give them opportunities to move on if that's what they want to do.
Brian, go ahead.
Go.
I was going to say, you brought up facilities being second to none.
Yeah.
what role does facilities play in this long-term investment in the Kalani and the program?
Well, you have to be in the game. And the one thing, and Kalani said it very, very well, one of the big game changers, and everyone in this room knows it, is when we joined the Big 12. It changed everything as far as the level of competition day in and day out, and the ability to compete at the very highest level and put yourself in a position like we're in right now. And Kalani's done a great job of adapting and adjusting to a brand new world of being in the Big 12. And we're super grateful for the Big 12. The other part of it, and to answer your question about facilities, is that recruiting is the lifeblood of a program. And one of the things that's been proven is that Kalani and this staff, and the reason why we have to have the right coaches in place, is because recruiting is everything. And they just signed one of the top recruiting classes in the country, got commitments from some of the best players in the country, and one of the best recruiting classes we've had. And part of bringing those young men to this campus is they want to have the resources and the facilities to be able to prepare themselves for the next level. They all have the dream. And so we want to make sure when they come to BYU that they're not sacrificing anything in their ability to prepare for a great career at BYU and beyond. And so when you start looking at our facilities, our practice fields, our stadium, the locker rooms downstairs, the weight rooms, like, we want to make sure they have the very best and that we stay in the game. We got to be competitive. And those student athletes and those prospective student athletes, they're seeing the very best as they travel around. They want to know that if they come here, they're going to have access to the best resources and the best facilities. So that's part of our commitment, is to make sure that we have those facilities in place.
But with the facilities, though, just to add on that, sorry, Brian, but the most important facility is game day and game night, and what happens there. It's a spectacle. It's awesome. It's beautiful, and so we focus on that. All the other stuff, we need it, and there's some things that you need and some things that are required. That's the stuff I'm focused on. If a young man wants to come here because of a building, and I don't know how good of a player he's going to be, so we're going to have what's needed and the necessities. We don't need to be extravagant, so that's not our style anyways. We're a tough-nosed program, and like I said, if a young man has to go somewhere because it's a beautiful building, I'd love to play against him, so we'll stick to our standard and our identity, but there are some things that we can make it easier for them to be at their best, and that can be at their peak performance level, and they can do a lot of things. That's the stuff we're going to really invest in.
Ryan, it's well documented. You're a competitive person.
Yeah.
How does it feel to kind of win this competition when big hitters are swinging for your guy, Tom's guy that you guys brought in over a decade ago to win against the best, unlimited resources, along with Keith and Shane and those that had the decisions? How does that feel to win?
I didn't view it like that. Going into this, we had a lot of conversations about the program and about making sure that he feels valued at BYU. And one of the things that we're all competitive, but my responsibility as the athletic director is to have the best coaches in the country for BYU. And there's nobody better in all of football for BYU than Kalani Sitake. So our investment was, let's make sure that we do everything we can to retain Kalani Sitake. We never wavered. We had a lot of great conversations, but that was the motivation. It wasn't to win. It was to make sure that we have the best football coach in America that aligns perfectly with BYU and the church, and there's nobody better than Kalani Sitake. And so that was the focus, is to make sure that we invested in the right person. And when you've been in something for 10 years, in the trenches, through the good, the tough, you find out real quick who you want to go to battle with. And if we're going to go to battle, I'm going to battle with this guy. I'm walking the path with this guy. And so that was the motivation. It wasn't to win, but I'm grateful we won.
Brian, how does this change the expectations now for the program? a significant investment?
I think the expectations are already set by Kalani and his vision and passion for excellence. He's built something really, really special, and we wanted to give him the resources to be able to sustain it. There were a lot of people for a long time that said, number one, we would never be in a power conference, and number two, that we would never be in this position. But we believe, and he believes. And the expectations for this program are set by him and our vision to be great and to bring positive light to this incredible university and positive light to, especially in this time of season, to the Savior. That's who we are. We're unashamed about it. And this athletic department, this university, our passion is to be perfectly aligned with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and be perfectly aligned with the leadership, with Keith and President, and all the way from top to bottom. And that's why I'm excited, because I feel like we're all in it together. And that doesn't happen everywhere, but it's going to happen here.
Well, you can put it into words, from playing here, coaching here, becoming a true member of this community. What does BYU mean to you?
Yeah, I already cried enough tonight, but yeah, no, that's okay. I don't know. It's a way of life, you know, and so, and I don't know. It's awesome because it's family, and just everyone being at their best. It's having wonderful example like the Savior to follow, you know, and also realizing that we don't have to be perfect. That's been the key. I think what I love from our guys is I ask them to just try everything they got. Effort and energy will dictate everything for us. And but if it's about perfect, we haven't played a perfect game yet, but we're going to try. And so if we can just, the BYU way is for us to do it together and not to and to rely on each other. I don't have all the answers. I remember 10 years ago when I got the job, I asked everyone to help me out, you know, and I think it was a call to all of Cougar Nation to help me recruit. That's still going on. I still need that, you know. But the thing that I'll tell you is exactly when you ask me, it's what happened with the outpouring of love. That's BYU, you know. And imagine how what social media can be if we continue to follow the path of positivity and uplifting people. And I think it was something that was really beautiful that our fans did for me. I can tell you it made me feel really good. And I think we should do it more often for everyone and maybe turn it into a much more positive experience.
As you both, just one more question, then we're going to bring up Tanner and Chase, two of our senior captains. We'll make them available for a couple questions.
As you both know, in all virtually big-time football programs, the head coach has executive decision-making ability. Was Kalani granted that in this deal?
Kalani always has decision-making capability for his program. One of the things when you start talking about alignment is there are very few things that we disagree on when we talk about the direction of this program and where it's going, and we make decisions together. We make decisions together, and when there needs to be additional input, there's input. But Kalani always has decision-making capability for his football program. That's why we invest in him, because he makes sound decisions, and that's why we're in the position we're in. This excellence just didn't happen by chance. This has been happening for some time, and the way he's built it the right way. We're just super excited. And what I'm really excited for, and he mentioned it earlier, I'm excited for Cougar Nation. I think people are going to find out when that roof blows off on Saturday when our team runs on the field. People are going to feel what we all feel for this place and for this program, and we're extremely grateful for Kalani and his entire staff. And when I say entire staff, I'm looking around, I see all my staff that's been in the trenches here for the last little while, but these coaches and all of them that are here and that aren't here. I'm just going to say this real quick. The start of the year, we went to Media Day together and we sat and watched the movie F1 together with a bunch of the players. And that celebration in the back room when they won, even those that weren't out on the track, that's what's happening here. That's the culture that he's created. Everybody feels a part of it and they feel valued, and we're going to keep building this thing.
Appreciate it.
Let's go.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that was a live press conference from Provo, Utah. The extension of Kalani Sitake as the head coach of BYU football. Brian Santiago, the athletic director there. You heard him at the end. They even had Keith Borkink, the athletic department vice president and activities vice president there at BYU. He heads up. He's Brian Santiago's boss, and he reports right to Shane Reese, who's the president of BYU. He also spoke. Before we get out, because we're way past it here, we want to say thanks to the folks here at JCW. JCW's awesome job. You got to come down. You got to check it out food-wise. Nobody better than the Burger Boys. So many locations across the Wasatch Front, but you can obviously dip in wherever is close to you, and there's a reason that there is quality and a lot of it from those guys. Tomorrow, Hans and Scotty are going to be at Tim Daly Nissan, Southtown, for their it's going to be a championship game preview for this BYU Texas Tech game, on top of many other subjects, of course. 11155 South Jordan Gateway at South Jordan. It's the Tim Daly, home of the Forever Warranty. And, of course, this portion of the show brought to you by the good folks down here at the American Fork, Spanish Fork, and Linden locations of the Doug Smith dealerships. Nobody knows cars like Doug. JJ, guess what else we have?
What else?
Some tickets to give away.
Let's do it.
Okay. Jazz and Thunder coming up on Sunday. It is your final time for a Jazz Ticket Tuesday here on an extended version of our program. So here we go. 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-ZONE. You get a pair of tickets to see the Utah Jazz and the Oklahoma City Thunder on Sunday at Delta Center. For Jeremiah Jensen, David and Brant, who do an awesome job, of course, setting it up here and tearing us down at JCW's. We say thanks to our producer, also Alex Napolis, who held it down in Salt Lake City. We'll be back again tomorrow for another edition of our show. JJ and Alex right here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.